Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Tex, of course, with the open source office here at Intersect. I'm joined once again by Logan from the Clarity DAO, and we are going to go a little bit deeper into the Clarity protocol, the Clarity website here, and show you all some more about what we teased before, but how you can actually use this and what these things might do as a benefit for you. Logan?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Tex, thanks for having me on again. I'm excited to dive deeper into the tech here today. So what do you say we just jump right into it?
Let's do it.
All right, so before I click through the interface, what Clarity is a community management software. And in Web3 talk, what we do is we help facilitate decentralized operations. A lot of people would understand this as DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. So we provide tools for people that are, don't want a fully on-chain treasury and only want certain types of governance actions, and just huge amounts of flexibility of feature sets that are useful for decentralized operations. So I'm going to click through those feature sets here. This is free to get started, so if you want to, you just go to clarity.vote. When you start, you click create organization, and then you put in your name, the description, your logo, your links, and then you click save. And then you'll be able to create your organization. Now, once you create your organization, you'll be met with a handful of different feature sets. And the first feature set that I will chat through is governance. This could also be kind of community sentiment gathering. You could also frame it as. So as an admin, what you're able to do is you can have any Cardano native asset as a governance token, or you can just have a point system that is associated. So this is like XP, we call it off-chain DAO tokens, or like contribution tokens. And you'll understand more about these as we get into the other feature sets as well. So what you can do is once you register all your different voting or your governance tokens, you can create vote power calculations. So if you want to combine the weights of all of the different tokens you have listed, you can do that. If you want to have a one member, one vote calculation, you can have that. If you want to only have a calculation that only applies to a certain subset of your community that holds a certain, policy ID, you can do that. So super flexible on how you can actually weight the influence. Now, when you create these voting powers, so say I wanted to manage it, and I'm not going to save any of this, but you can see you can change the scale. You can make it quadratic. You can make one of these assets worth 5 votes, worth 1 vote. You can really get super granular and customize your governance in however way you want to. Now, once you have the voting power calculation set up, Tex, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I had a question. I don't want to interrupt the flow, but I'm just thinking in terms of, we have DREPs, we have SPOs. How does, being able to use Clarity operate, or how is using Clarity beneficial to better understand how those SPOs and DREPs are working or in that decision-making field?
Absolutely. And we're actually building out a feature where you can have a vote power calculation based off delegation. So an SPO can do that for their delegators, or a DREP can do that for their delegators as well. But really, it's all about, okay, say there's something that a DREP is going to vote on. They want to know what their community thinks about it, or if anyone has any strong opinions. They can use Clarity to, bring people into this governance forum where they can have a poll, they can have a vote. And I think that's actually a great segue into what types of governance actions can you create. So we offer off-chain snapshot. So really what this is mostly off-chain, but what's on-chain about it is that the voting power is calculated by a digital asset, or maybe XP, so contribution points. So it's an NFT, fungible tokens, whatever it is. So you can create these governance actions. You can create a poll, which is like a yes, no, a multiple choice. You can create an open poll, which is my favorite governance action. It's actually where you can crowdsource ideas from the community. So say it's like an art competition where you want everyone to make a meme, or you want to have people submit ideas for an AMA for questions, or you want to have people submit feature ideas that they would like to be prioritized on the platform. Really versatile governance action, that one. You can also create forums. So you probably see this on discourse and that type of stuff, but essentially you can create a forum where people can have long form discussions. And then we also have snapshot proposals. And this is actually the exact same as a poll, except there's a different level of social commitment involved. Now, moving on to other types of governance actions, you can actually have on-chain proposals too. So this is completely on-chain. So votes are casted on-chain. The effects of these proposals are automatically executed by smart contracts. You can do things like spend treasury funds, update governance parameters, just have an info action, a no effect vote as well. We'll be working on building out treasury swaps, lending and borrowing with different protocols. As time goes on, this automatically executing proposal library will get bigger. So that's mostly it from the governance side of things. You can see we have a bunch of different ones going on right now, so you can kind of see examples of what could a governance action be. And there's one that says, what projects would you like to see create a DAO on Clarity? So people can come into this forum and they're able to talk about different, I can't believe, see book.io, people can start putting in their different ideas of what kind of organizations could use decentralized governance. You also have, let's see, a different type here. This is an open poll to suggest an edit to the Cardano Constitution. So if you've read the draft and you want the Austin, Texas delegates to read your suggested edit and make sure it's considered and thought about, you can come in here and submit. So yeah, you can use this stuff for really anything you want. Yeah, I'll pause there. What are your thoughts on the governance feature sets?
Yeah, I really like everything that this brings to the table, and I hate to put my thoughts in a question, but I think that's best suited here. This is going to be a little bit of a multi-part, right? So, what are you guys going to do with these suggestions, right? I don't want to assume that that's coming directly to Clarity, but when we have that forum that says, hey, what projects do you want to see created DAO in Clarity? How are y'all going to get that back out to the community to encourage those specific organizations to get started here?
Yeah, so that's an interesting problem that we're trying to figure out how to solve, I'd say. So how do you turn these governance, idea creation forums into actual action? So I think a lot of what you have to do is you got to tie in all of this ideation into ways that the community can actually come in and do it. So for example, with what projects would you like to see create a DAO on Clarity? We take these answers, and if people are talking about it in the Discord, we say, hey, we have an ambassador program where if you bring them onto Clarity, you get revenue share for doing it. So having some calls to action like that and turning these ideas into tangible, maybe not tangible, but real gains is a super interesting thing. We're still trying to figure out.
Now, as the two-part, forgive me because this is a slightly technical question, but with the hard fork coming up, what does that mean for Clarity? What are some of the things that you all might have to do, or is that all handled under the forgive me, I'm forgetting the parent organization, if you will, but and maybe that's resolved into Clarity now. But yeah, what does the hard fork mean for the Clarity DAO? What kind of updates might you all have to do?
Yeah, so with the Clarity DAO, we're in a good spot for the hard fork. I'm not a technical founder myself, but what I can say is we have a great team that's looking at the hard forks, making sure that we're prepared. We're in touch with kind of the main infrastructure providers to see if there's any adjustments that are going to come down the line as well. We use a lot of services within the Cardano ecosystem, InMaker, BlockFrost. So we have a great group of devs that will make sure the Clarity app is ready to go, and you can still build DAOs once the hard fork happens.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah, so I guess jumping into the next feature set, I'll talk about membership.
This one will be
yeah. So one thing that we realized as we kept kind of trying to figure out decentralized operations is you need to have membership gating. So with the Clarity platform, you can make it as private or as public as you want your organization, and you can gate everything with membership. And how you do that is you can literally say, hey, you have to hold a certain amount of tokens. Maybe you have to verify your email. We're even thinking about kind of a Stripe integration where maybe you have to pay a subscription. So there's a lot of different ideas of what you can do to gate membership. But yeah, it's super easy to turn on, and then you can come to the admin page actually, and you'll see that what you're able to do is you can control access to all the different parts of your organization. So if you want only members to be able to view Quest, if you want only members to be able to, view governance items, you can gate that based off that. Other cool, you can customize your user interface right here on your admin tab to make it look like your brand. So cool stuff. That's pretty much it on the membership side. As a segue, should I move on to the next one, or do you have more thoughts on the membership side of things?
No, let's keep it moving.
Cool. Yeah. Before I forget, I think one of the biggest integrations that we're going to have is with DID providers, and that being membership token for a DAO. So imagine like an investment DAO where you have to have a DID that proves you're an accredited investor per se. Stuff like that. I think there's a bright future for DAOs and DIDs to have tons of integrations. So now we'll get into the gamification of community engagement and incentivization side of things. And this is a place where we put a lot of thought on how we can build tools for decentralized operations for this. Because at the end of the day, pretty much every Web3 project is as strong as their community. And how do you create a strong community? You need people that are informed. You need people that are engaging. You need people that are educating themselves on the bigger vision and want to contribute. So this is why we made this feature set. So what you're seeing here is a leaderboard of the total diamonds earned by the Clarity members. So they're stacking up these things called diamonds. And if you remember in the governance tab, these could be considered voting power. These were the off-chain DAO tokens, the gems that I mentioned. So these are really just XP points in the DAO. So how do you get these diamonds? Go ahead.
Now, again, these diamonds can also be an NFT, or they can also be any version of a token that's on Cardano, right?
Yeah. So really, what you do, just to speak to that before I dive into this, is you get the points, and then what you do is you pretty much create a marketplace. So you can have those points redeemed for different, like you say, NFTs, tokens, merch, a trip to some conference. I don't know, anything. So how do you get the diamonds? So you can create things called boards. So here you can add different types of boards. You can create a new board, and you can either create a quest board, which is always there. So it will perpetually be there. Members can complete each task once. Or you can create a raid board, which is like a time-boxed leaderboard challenge, which I'll get into a little more. So here you have a content creation quest board, where if someone creates a thread about Clarity on X, they get 200 points. If someone, gets 20 likes on a thread, they get 1,000 points. If you create a video that gets 500 views, you get 5,000 points. And right now you can exchange these diamonds that you earn for those prizes. And diamonds are, right now the ratio to Clarity tokens is 1-to-1. So you can see like some of these are pretty valuable tasks to do. We also have an onboarding board, just as another example. You can, encourage everyone to follow you on all your socials, turn on notifications so that they get onboarded right and can stay in touch. This could be used for educational purposes as well. Like an assignment could be something that gets you points. Maybe it's reading the Constitution, or it's preparing for, a meeting, or you're going, like each board could be a course. I don't know. It could be used for a lot of different things. And then you have the raid boards, which is the other type of board. And what we do is each month or so, we'll have a raid where we give away a pro rata share of Clarity that gets distributed to the participants. So you come in here, and every day the community sees new things pop up that they can do to contribute to the movement and the project. So what should we raid? Come to our Twitter space, retweet this tweet, whatever it may be. They come in here and they complete these tasks, and they start to get points. And then at the end of the raid, you're actually able to just distribute these tokens in a pro rata fashion to all of the raid participants. So been really useful. I'll pause there. That's like the main part of the community engagement and reward stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is obviously a really important feature, that gamification. I think that's a big part of at least one sector or multiple sectors maybe of the Cardano community are looking to do with a number of different decision-making actions, if you will. I know that's probably a lot of the same words, but maybe we kind of just scraped the surface on this, and I recognize that some of it may be self-explanatory, but where do we stand as far as the Clarity token? Does that have a certain value? Is that something that we track on AdaStack, or what's the benefit, even if I'm going to create this for myself, of giving out these tokens, other than being able to spread my NFT or reward my NFT to those that want to contribute?
Yeah. So kind of, I guess the question is like building in the utility to this whole system within the Clarity token. So one of the biggest events that will happen to the Clarity token, so you can trade it on MinSwap, you can trade it on Sunday Swap, it's on Tap Tools, you can see all of our stuff. I think our circulating market cap is like 5 million or something right now. So what the Clarity DAO is doing in order to create buy pressure for the Clarity token is all of this functionality that I just kind of walked through, and then a little more functionality that we'll walk through after I say this. We're wrapping this up in an SDK, so a developer toolkit. And so people can build all of this functionality and pick and choose which feature sets they want and put their own spin on it into their own apps. And what will happen is, I don't know if people are familiar with the model of drip drops, but you pretty much purchase the drip token, in order to buy credits so you can distribute rewards to your audience. So we'll have a similar thing where you have to buy API credits with the Clarity token, which will be really cool. And we'll build probably a whole kind of system like, hey, if you stake 500,000 Clarity to the Clarity DAO, then you get a sharp discount on your API fees, a bunch of different things there. The Clarity token is also, and this is a great segue into probably the main functionality of it, the governance token over the Clarity DAO treasury, which is the DAO's biggest asset. And this is the treasury right now. You can see all the different tokens that are in there. And yeah, that's one of the other main parts of it. I don't know if that answered your question.
I think it did, to an extent. If we kind of evolve that question a little bit, what we're seeing here is that through all of these tokens, through all these NFTs, if you will, it's just another name there, but basically what we're seeing is that this is all increasing the transaction volume of what actually happens on Cardano, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you have more NFTs being created, you have more vote signing transactions happening, you have more treasury spending happening. DAOs are a great thing to get on Cardano for a million different reasons, all the way from creating a more transparent operating system for the world, and also health of the Cardano ecosystem and treasury. So the next thing that I'm going to jump into is probably the most technical part, but also the coolest part of the Clarity platform, in my opinion. And this is how to create an actual decentralized autonomous organization. So you're creating a treasury that is guarded by smart contracts that only execute if certain thresholds are met. So what I can show is, we have the Clarity treasury. We have certain governance rules over our Clarity treasury. And I'll show you them in a second once it pops in here. So you need 20 million Clarity in order to create an on-chain proposal. You need to have at least one Clarity to vote on a proposal. And in order for a proposal to execute, 57,500,000 Clarity have to vote in favor for it. And these are all rules enforced by smart contracts. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually create one of these entities.
That's fantastic. I'm not a degen, but if I did want to make my own NFT, I've always thought of it being something similar to do with that cowboy aesthetic, if you will, that we like to put forward. But yeah, show me how it's done.
All right.
Show us how it's done.
So what you do is after you create your organization and click save, you can see this button on your admin page, and you click launch Agora DAO. And then you'll be able to see any token that's in your wallet. You can choose it as one of your governance tokens. And it has to be a fungible token, by the way, with current functionality. So that's just something very important to note. And then you fill out your proposal thresholds. So how many of the tokens is it going to take to execute? How many other tokens does one have to stake to the DAO in order to create a proposal? How many tokens does one have to hold in order to cast a vote on a proposal? And then what you do is you put in how long's your draft period, how long's your voting period, and all your different, time rules. You understand, you click that, and then you click submit. And what you do is you sign a chain of transactions that actually puts your whole DAO on chain, gives you your treasury, gives you the ability to create on-chain proposals over your treasury and for your community. But yeah, that's really how it's done. It's
now,
not too
how
hard.
often are we syncing, right? So right here to create or launch that Agora DAO, it's going to cost me, I think it said something like 115 ADA, right?
Mm-hmm.
How often do I, as let's say, as an Agora DAO, how often do I need to sync up and get my data on chain? And does that cost me the same 115 ADA every time? Does it vary based on the size of what we're updating?
That's a one-time fee. And then, so you're going to pay network fees when you create an on-chain proposal. You're going to pay network fees when you cast an on-chain vote. Your members will. That's about like any on-chain action, you'll pay the network fee. In the future, the Clarity DAO does have the ability to turn on a fee switch, so that not just so the protocol can actually make money. There's no plans to turn this on right now, but it is an option for the DAO, and it's really interesting to kind of think about, how that would work. But yeah, that fee is just a one-time fee at the front. Right now, you're literally only paying Cardano transaction fees in order to do all the on-chain actions for Agora DAOs via the Clarity interface.
Super cool.
Yeah. I think that's about everything. We do have a DAO metrics page, which I think is pretty cool. So you can see the total TVL and Clarity Track DAOs. You can see how many organizations have been created, how many unique voters, proposers. Like Sunday Swap has $144,000 treasury in an Agora DAO, which is awesome. We have, TVL over time, all these different graphs. So pretty cool stuff you can look at to kind of track the Clarity ecosystem. Hopefully we see some exponential curves here as time goes on.
Absolutely. So I guess we can take this to, we'll revisit another direction that we had previously looked at here, which is, if we're considering this from the perspective of a DREP or even of an SPO, right? My question is, where and how am I going to stake my funds? What's my vote going to be? And so are there any guardrails that I might want to consider being a DREP or an SPO as far as, the governance that I'm going to put forth here, or how open or closed do I want it to be per se?
Yeah, I think in my opinion, it's up to the DREP of how they want to make their decisions. I think that the DREPs will kind of be a free market of influences, where if people don't like you, they can just pull from it and give to another DREP or keep it for themselves. So it's up to the DREP. You can do things like make it one member, one vote. You can set that up in a few seconds. You can launch an NFT and drop it to your delegates every epoch. that they do it, and as they're staked to you, they get more and more voting power. You can commit to a formal process of, hey, before I cast a vote, I'm always going to have a forum. I'm always going to have a temperature check so that when I cast my vote, I'm informed by my community and delegators. You could leverage it in a lot of different ways. Like I said, we are building those features where you can calculate your voting power via the delegation amount as well, and time. So maybe you want to have a multiplier if people are delegated to you longer. But yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities.
I guess the last question I have, and maybe this is a little bit deep, and so I apologize to go this direction, but I'm just thinking of like risk management, and maybe it's a non-issue, right? But is there any risk to, creating a DAO that's going to support another DAO, or is that just all a benefit because it's continuously staking the transaction fees?
I mean, there's always a risk involved with using smart contracts. I will say Agora is open source and audited. It's used by a handful of different projects as well. It has a large amount of, not a large, we want to get a lot bigger, but a good amount of TVL in it. But in terms of, what was the second part of your question? A DAO, building a DAO?
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to create one DAO, and now I create another DAO, but now out of whatever decision, I'm going to delegate my assets over here, or I'm going to create something new as an evolution there, right? Is there, I guess, any risk concern there that's in a way cheating the system, or does the cheating the system not necessarily matter in this case? Because at the end of the day, to actually launch that Agora DAO, where there's still the loss of that transaction fee, or not the loss rather, but the attribution back to the network.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I fully understand, but really, I mean, DAOs are essentially, community self-custodial bank accounts. So if you want to create as many as you want, that's fine. Is it maybe stressful on the chain? Yeah, maybe, but in terms of like assets being, shared between the treasuries in nefarious ways, it's like, I suppose that could happen, but it's all going to be on chain, so you can always see what's going on.
Well, I guess that was the end all answer of what I was getting to, right? At the end of the day, to actually take that step to make decisions and to be showing it is going to be that on-chain piece. And so I think that's the importance of what I was trying to get to. But maybe somebody in the community here will more effectively state the question if they have it as well. But no, I appreciate you taking me through the platform a little bit more in depth here, and gives me a lot of different ideas as far as what can and in some cases should be developed to move things forward for everybody. So I guess I'd ask if you have any final thoughts, but other than that, we'll see what the community has to say, and we'll get this out there.
Yeah, I mean, if people, I mean, could I play a 1.5 minute video that explains the Clarity vision? We'll wrap with that.
Sure.
All right, let me get that up real quick. I wasn't planning on this, but I feel like if you made it this long in the video, we have a big vision with Clarity, and it'll be cool to share this.
And is this posted somewhere? Because we can link it as well separately.
Yeah, I'll send you the link right after this.
Perfect.
But here we go.
In today's world, trust in institutions is at an all-time low. Powerful corporations and unelected regulators are increasingly making decisions with no say by the people affected. With this realization, a movement has formed around blockchain because of the fair and transparent community and decision-making systems it creates. We are in a defining moment in human history where we can continue to let centralized powers become more powerful or pull some of the control back into the hands of the people. The time is now for communities to build better systems that ensure control by the people and for the people. Introducing Clarity, a platform to create and manage any entity using transparent decision-making frameworks enforced by code. Clarity makes it easy to create and manage decentralized autonomous organizations, also called DAOs, where stakeholder consent is required before making important decisions. Stakeholders' decisions are made collaboratively and executed automatically, completely removing the need to trust someone to act on the community's behalf. Clarity provides organizations and entities of any size all of the tools needed to create and fine-tune their DAO for any use case through an easy-to-use interface. Join us as we build a future where the many outweigh the few.
There you have it.
And I don't know that there's a better way to sum things up than that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I really like that video. But yeah, thanks for having me on again. I hope if anyone's watching and wants to learn more about governance, Cardano, Clarity, anything we're building, I'm always happy to chat.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for making some time for us once again. Safe travels, as I know we're coming up on Buenos Aires there. So hope that's a fun trip for you. And yeah, if you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel here for more awesome content like this. If there's something that you're not seeing or more questions that you have, make sure to drop those in the comments, or of course, reach out to us here, oso@intersectmbo.org. And then, of course, we are at IntersectOso on X, and you can follow us there for immediate updates. Anything else from you there, Logan?
No, I think I'm all good. Are you going to Buenos Aires?
I am not. I will be there, hopefully in spirit with you all, but I will be here eating some turkey, I think. So
there you go. Well, happy holidays here and happy Thanksgiving. I'll chat with everyone soon.
Thanks so much, Logan.